Good afternoon. Welcome to the Bloomington Rotary Club's weekly celebration of service. I'm Steve Wicks. I'm honored to serve as your president this year. Please silence your electronic devices. On this day in history, November 18th, 1883, U.S. and Canadian railroads set and synchronized 4 standard time zones: Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific, replacing over 100 time zones. Quick warning, those of you who grew up in a church knew that once a year you'd be hard pressed for money. Today is a club assembly, and that will be part of today's program. I apologize to our guests. Usually we have a really interesting outside speaker. But today, during today's program, you'll be asked to give money to the Rotary International Foundation and the Bloomington Rotary Foundation. And if you can afford to do so, please, if you can afford to give, please do so. If you can't afford to give, or if your charitable giving is committed elsewhere, we understand. Rotarians are called to serve, and giving money is only one of many options for service. Dave Meyer will share a reflection today.
Speaking of service, there will be a community service meeting after this meeting to go over our first final selection of our first Rotary Foundation grant. Okay, so I'd like to open this reflection with a short quiz, if you don't mind. I'll begin with question 1. For the audience, what is the oldest university in North America?
Harvard.
I hear Harvard. That's a good guess. That is, in fact, the oldest in the United States. But the oldest in North America is the National Autonomous University of Mexico, known as UNAM, which was founded in 1551, essentially 100 years before Harvard was founded. Okay, number 2. Which New World Western Hemisphere country has the most UNESCO World Heritage Sites? I hear Mexico. That is correct. They have 35. The U.S. has 26. Okay. You guys are going to be, it's going to be easy now. Number 3, which North American country is the only one to have ever elected a Jewish president? Who said that? All right, Sally, way to go. Mexico is Claudia Sheinbaum, the current president and the first female president of Mexico. All right, I got a bonus question too. Bonus question. Good guess, good guess. No, this is tougher. What is the full name of Mexico? Ah, there we go. Estados Unidos, Mexico. The United States of Mexico is correct English answer in English. Okay, so why do I ask these questions? Well, to show that we really don't know that much about our southern neighbor. I think we know a lot about our neighbor to the north, but not a lot about our neighbor to the south. But that is not the point of this presentation. I want to focus on the new president of Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum, known as Presidenta Claudia Sheinbaum. And it has a bonus for me because it allows me to talk about politics, which is forbidden in this setting, because it's Mexican politics, not American, not U.S. politics, sorry. So Ms. Sheinbaum holds a PhD in energy engineering and served as mayor of Mexico City from 2018 to 2023, and was sworn in as Mexico's first female and Jewish president in October of 2024. So she's been at it a little more than a year. She has an interesting practice to her day where she starts off her mornings every day with a daily press conference that are called mañaneras. So she has to face the press first thing in the morning every day. Not long ago, she made the news up here because she was pushing back on our president's statement about the alleged high rate of violent crime in Mexico City. She pushed back because as she pointed out, there are 10 murders per 100,000 Mexico City residents, as compared to 27 murders per 100,000 Washington, D.C. residents. So comparing those capital cities, it is more than twice as violent in Washington, D.C. as it is in Mexico City these days. Policy-wise, she and the previous president oversaw a dramatic decline in poverty, with more than 13 million people being pushed out of poverty. And that was a result primarily, but not exclusively, due to a rapid rise of the minimum wage, linking it to the rate of inflation. So one of the things she accomplished was early in her term was helping make that change to the Constitution, which is where the minimum wage resides. It is a constitutional requirement. She added the part about making sure that the minimum wage increases are higher than the rate of inflation. So that has had a big impact on poverty in Mexico. She pushes energy transition to sustainability and electromobility. She also is very focused on health and launched a House to Health program of free in-home care for older adults and people with disabilities. She's also making major upgrades to the overall public health system in Mexico, which include hopefully a dramatic increase in the number of clinics and doctors and nurses. She's a champion of women's rights and has introduced a pre-pension system for women aged 60 to 64 before they qualify for the national pension at 65. The Pensión Mujeres Bienestar program seeks to recognize the value of household work and caregiving and the lack of savings of many older women in Mexico.
Please come and he's just gonna do
For
the.
all this,
Just
she
gonna forget
enjoys
it.
an approval rating with Mexicans of over 70%. But even with this high rating, she is not popular in all categories. President Sheinbaum has personally been caught up in the challenges of women's, nonetheless, over 80% of Mexicans are unhappy with the government's handling of organized crime and corruption. So that is where she is most unpopular. Crime and corruption, a big rock to push. President Sheinbaum has personally been caught up in the challenges of women's rights in Mexico. She was kissed and groped by a drunk man while walking in the historic center of Mexico City a few weeks ago. Her political opponents called it a setup. But Sheinbaum pointed out that this kind of criticism is what women often face when they suffer acts of sexual harassment and abuse. As she said, they make us feel guilty. It's re-victimization. In 2023, in the run-up to the presidential election, Vicente Fox, a former Mexican president, dismissed her as a Bulgarian Jew, quote unquote. This remark led her to release her birth certificate showing that she was both born in Mexico City and also led Fox to apologize for his remark. Presidents in Mexico can only serve one 6-year term of office, but it will be very interesting to observe Sheinbaum's performance over the remaining 5 years of her presidential term.
Thank you, Dave. Hank Walter will introduce our guest today.
So in the spirit of quick and easy quizzes, anyone have a guess of who has the most guests here today? Jim Bright, exactly. Jim may be accompanying our global scholar to the Evansville Rotary Club right now, but he still has two guests here today. So if you wouldn't mind joining, or standing when you're introduced, so we can properly welcome you. Terry Fry, past district governor. And Pablo Lopez. Other guests are Melissa Van Buskirk, who is a guest of Ellen Stroman, and Carol Siemens, who is a guest from Tina Swanson. Do we have any guests online?
I don't believe we do. If anybody that joined after I asked initially, if you are a guest, go ahead and speak out your name, but I don't believe that we do.
Thank you, Hank. So in the 100-year history of our club, we've lost our share of distinguished, dedicated members, including community leaders and those who have particularly distinguished themselves in Rotary. Many of our longer tenured members recall Pat Riggins, Bud Core, Mark Kellums, Ron Jensen, Sam Bell, Keith Klein, Randy Bridges, just to name a few. And now we've lost Charlotte Zitlow, an impactful, ceiling-breaking community leader who served Bloomington and Monroe County for 6 decades. I'd like to take a minute to focus on Charlotte the Rotarian. She joined the club in 1988 in the second wave of women who were allowed to join Rotary. During her almost 40 years in the club, she was a passionate advocate for young people in education. She was active on the scholarship and international committees. I've been told that Charlotte once walked around a club lunch meeting with a glass of water on her head to promote a club international project. Lynn Schwartzberg delivered a moving reflection about Charlotte a year ago in celebration of Charlotte's 90th birthday. Mentally sharp and determined to participate, even as her body was failing her, Charlotte last attended a club meeting in early October. She even made a donation to Happy Dollars. Charlotte remains the only Rotarian honoree of the annual Bloomington Rotary Toast. With that in mind, Alan Barker accessed a short video about Charlotte.
I'm gonna row my boat like Marley Brown, picking up an oar when the ship went down. When she made it home, Marley kissed the ground. I'm gonna row my boat like Marley Brown, pull and rest, pull and rest, do your best, and I'm more or less rest and pull and try, keep asking why, till we all meet on the other side. I'm gonna row my boat like Rosa Parks, RBG, saying, oh, y'all, take a boot off of me. She worked to change the old paradigm, day by day, one law at a time. Pull and rest, pull and rest, do your best, and I'm more or less rest and pull and try, keep asking why, till we all meet on the other side. I'm gonna row my boat like Lucretia Mott, who stood up and said, this has to stop. I believe we all carry a piece of light. Some called her wrong, but she was right. Pull and rest, pull and rest, do your best, and I'm more or less rest and pull and try, keep asking why, till we all meet on the other side. I'm gonna run my boat like Molly Brown, picking up an oar when the ship went down. When she made it home, Molly kissed the ground. I'm gonna row my boat like Molly Brown. I'm gonna row my boat like Molly Brown. I'm gonna row my boat like Molly Brown.
As a Rotarian, Charlotte was very generous with the Rotary International Foundation and the Bloomington Rotary Club through the every Rotarian every year with Rotary International, the 80-20 program with Bloomington Rotary Foundation, and also memorial gifts. So we'll hear from Sally and Alan and Sarah here in a little bit. But there are, Charlotte loved at community meetings, loved to pass the hat. So on your way out, if you want to make a small cash gift to Charlotte, there are 2 hats there, one for the Bloomington Rotary Club and one for Rotary International Foundation. Also, Happy Dollars today will be, proceeds will go to Rotary International Foundation. If you can do it and we can keep moving, let's do it. Yep, let's go. Birthdays. We have 2 birthdays to celebrate. On the 24th, Henry Leck and Wilson Shatandi. One anniversary on the 20th, Chris Kroll has been a member of the club for 7 years. Announcements. I'd like to thank club members Don and Melinda Cedar for repairing one of our club banners. Please sign up for the club holiday party on December 11th at the Bloomington Country Club. Cash bar opens at 6 p.m., followed by dinner at 6:30. Tickets are $60 each, and that includes a $10 club support. You can pay for tickets outright, or you can be billed by the club for your tickets. See me in person, or you can send me an email. My email will be in the roundabout, and we hope you can join us. We'd like to have all the reservations in by December 4th. Scholarship Committee plans to meet here immediately after this meeting. Still need a roundabout reporter for the month of December. We only have 3 meetings in December, so it's a relatively easy assignment. See Marilyn Wood if you're interested. Rotary International Giving Tuesday is scheduled for December 2nd. We'll have more about that next week. Sign up for Salvation Army bell ringing at Kroger East and Kroger South, November 29th, December 6th, December 13th. Club members Jonas Chang over there and Dave Meyer there are available if you'd like, if you want to sign up or you need additional information. And now we have special music from Sally Gaskell, Connie Chikalis, and Lynn Schwartzberg.
Have to use the microphone for the Zoomers. Oh, okay, thanks. Good afternoon. We have a copy of the Rotary Songbook. It's thanks to Glenda. Thank you very much, Glenda, who ferreted it out. This song is from 101 years ago. It is a welcome song, and it was written apparently by 2 Canadian Rotarians, Frank Blackford and Joe Williams. So please read along on the screen with Tyler's projection. It's also on your... Hail, friends of Worldwide Rotary, comrades in service true. From this broad land and o'er the sea, we proudly welcome you. Our cities and our homes command, come freely, take full share. To you we reach the open hand of friendship past compare. Be one with us and may your stay combine with raw regret, and may your distant dying day find us true comrades yet.
Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Sally, Lynn, Connie, and Connie. I was able to ride down to the Rotary Foundation event in French Lick with Jim Bright and Judy Witt. And one of the things Judy shared on the ride is that our club used to be known as a singing club. So it's kind of nice when I looked out in the audience and I saw some of our older club members who knew the song, and they were singing it. Now time for the Mystery Rotarian. Once again, I will put a clue up on the screen. If you know the answer, put up your hand. Don't shout it out. Those of you online, when you know it, let your host know electronically, but don't put the name up. First clue. A native of Mason City, Iowa, this future Rotarian earned degrees at Northern Iowa University before earning a doctorate in education at IU. This individual first joined Rotary after being named principal of Moline High School, the largest high school in Illinois at the time. Okay, I see about 5, okay, maybe 6, all right? Second clue. This Rotarian returned to IU as a bloomerang in 1994 to assume a position as executive director of the Indiana School Superintendent's Leadership Academy and associate director of field services. Put up your hand if you know the answer. We have more. Okay. Last clue. A job change forced this Rotarian to leave the Moline Club while serving as club president-elect. Over 40 years later, this Rotarian became president of the Bloomington Rotary Club, proving the adage, you can run, but you can't hide. Who knows the Mystery Rotarian? Put up your hand. Okay. And it's Ron Barnes. And we had several put up their hands at the same time. Jim Harvey, you were one of the several. Did you get it right? Good job. Good job to the others as well. Nice picture of Ron with a smile on his face, as is often the case. So building on his 14 years as superintendent of Illinois Consolidated High School District 230 and his IU position, Ron and four partners started BWP and Associates in 1992. And BWP is one of the nation's premier superintendent search firms. As his career progressed, Ron transferred his Rotary membership from Moline to Palos Hills, Illinois, Orland Park, Illinois, and then finally Bloomington, Indiana. A total Rotary tenure of over 50 years. In Bloomington, Ron has served as Teachers Warehouse president and volunteered with St. Vincent de Paul and the FBI Citizens Academy Board. And then during his time in Illinois, I mean, the things he was involved with there, volunteer organizations, just group after group after group. It's just been a real giver of his time. So anyway, congratulations, Ron Barnes. Ron, will you put your hand up and so people can see you? So Rotary's 7 areas of focus. I've shown this before. A reminder, November is Rotary Foundation Month. And Happy Dollar proceeds in November and December will be given to the Rotary International Foundation. And then I'm going to just spend a minute talking about membership. And Mark Peterson, our secretary, really gives us wonderful presentations every month at our board meetings. And I'm going to just take a very small sliver of that. But this is our membership as of November 17th, yesterday. 157 active members, 5 honorary members. We have 2 members on a leave of absence with a total of 164. And the breakdown on the right, these are of the active members. 111 have individual memberships. 46 are part of organizational members, and that consists of 14 organizations. And then here are the changes. We're very good about telling you when someone joins, not as good about telling you when someone leaves. So we've lost 5 since July 1st for various reasons: health, just time, moving, death. So you can see the people we've lost since July 1st. And then we've gained members since July 1st as well. So membership is holding steady. Our Lori Garrity is our membership chair for this year. Unfortunately, her husband has had serious health problems. So thankfully, Tracy Jovanovic has stepped in. I asked her if she could do membership from her cruise boat, and she said no. So I plan to get with Lori and get an update on her husband's situation and then decide how we cover membership in the months ahead. And I think time for a Paul Harris summary.
Don't get all riled up. I don't have much today. So I did stop by the Monroe County History Museum and I asked if there was an admission and they said not for an exhibit. So I have to think about that for a while. A brief update on the Rotary International Foundation. We're a little bit over $5,000 year to date. Most of the accounting builds up towards the end of the year. We have a goal of $15,000 this year. So if you haven't signed up for quarterly pledges, you might consider that. Today, it's an extreme pleasure in presenting a Paul Harris +3 pin to Judy Schroeder. Judy, would you please come up? This is 4 pages long, so it's not too bad. Now, many of you know Judy retired from Indiana University, where she was the longtime editor of the Indiana University Alumni Magazine, where she oversaw the development of the entire communications program for this organization. In 2020, Rotary Club, our club, presented Judy with the Distinguished Service Award for her work as editor-in-chief of the Roundabout. During my president's year, she had her hardest task in proofing my grammar and spelling. She's also one of the,
We're still friends.
We're still friends, yes. She's also one of the nicest people you could ever meet. And I'm excited to present you with your Paul Harris +3 pin. If you'd please rise and join me in celebrating this. Where do you want it? What side do you want it? Right here. Okay. I'll go put it over here. Okay.
Thank you.
I hope. Almost. Good, sir. It's not upside down. There we go.
Okay.
Congratulations. The rotary picture, right?
1, 2, 3. Got it.
Thank you, Mike, and congratulations, Judy. We have time for happy dollars. Anyone happy? Up.
We'll throw in a $10 happy dollar for the return of a former exchange student from Columbia, lived in Bedford. What year was it?
Hi, my name is Pablo. I was an exchange student in Bedford 1988, 1989, and be here as an exchange student is such a great experience. And Rotary Club has been in my heart really from the very beginning. As a exchange student, as a student after I got into dental school because Terry told me to do so. Anyway, but being here is such a pleasure for me, and I want to thank the Rotary Club for allowing me to be here. Thank you very much.
I have 10 happy dollars, and hopefully this doesn't cross political spectrums, but just to recognize that the Democrats and Republicans work together on saying no on redistricting.
I have a couple of things. One is your Rotary Scholar from a few years ago is now the Bloomington Network Coordinator for volunteers at the city. So she bumped up. I guess you all showed her volunteerism, and Don and I did. So now she's stuck with a whole city full of people to help volunteer. I wanted to say one thing about Charlotte, though, because we see Charlotte always in political and larger things in the community. When I worked with Charlotte in the 1990s, she was starting confidential document destruction for Middleway House as a way for women to get skills within the workforce. What I loved about Charlotte was when the women, unfortunately, didn't know the first step was to show up for work. Charlotte would put on her workbook boots. She would climb up in the box truck with her little hat on and drive and make the pickups. So she was a woman of many hats and many talents, and I wanted to share that because we all see her on one level, but she was so involved in that. And that's the memory I will always have, is seeing her up in that truck, driving barely over the steering wheel and being able to see, but she was going to go out and do the work that kept that project going on.
This Friday and Saturday, there is a nationwide movement called Fall of Freedom, and it is a call to artists of all medium, theater, literature, visual arts, music, to engage in activity in their community that addresses our rights as citizens in this country and our responsibilities as citizens in this country. In Bloomington, there is an event at 714 West Kirkwood Avenue. It is a gallery. There will be music. There will be refreshments Friday from 5 till 9 maybe, and Saturday afternoon. Fall of Freedom. It is easily searched on a Google search, and you can just pick a state and it lists all the events in the state. I believe there are currently 6 events happening statewide in Indiana, but they're across the country.
Is anybody online? No, no. All right. Okay.
Thank you. And congratulations to Aubrey and welcome Pablo. Now, Alan Barker, Sarah Laughlin, and Sally Gaskell.
Thank you very much. I note that we're running on time. It's amazing that Steve puts together a meeting with lots of speakers and stuff happening, and we're running on time. Okay, we'll try not to ruin that. So today we're introducing to you the first ever Bloomington Rotary donor sheet. Hopefully, if you came in the front door, you got yours. This was a lot of work. And I want to thank Steve Wicks for putting together the spreadsheets with the information from our financial accounts, and for Alan for making them into personalized donor sheets. I hope they're helpful. We hear a lot from those of you who are Rotarians. You're not sure if you've signed up for this or you've signed up for that. So these are the 3 things on the donor sheet that you can sign up for. But I do want to reiterate what Steve said at the start of our meeting. If you can't afford to do so, or if your charitable giving is committed elsewhere, we understand. Rotarians are called to serve, and giving money is only one of many options for service. So as we talk for the next few minutes, please keep that in mind. Okay, so first slide. Thank you, Tyler. The Rotary Foundation, we also call Rotary International. Judy Schroeder has given, I think, $3,000 or $4,000 based on the number of stars on her Paul Harris Award. So when you give to Rotary Foundation, based in Evanston, Illinois, you're giving to the mothership, the organization that oversees all of the thousands of clubs throughout the world. Your funds donated or added up to Paul Harris Awards. The Rotary Foundation is big. It's like a NGO, a multinational NGO. We support international projects as well as funds that come back to our district. You can give directly on the Rotary International website. That's rotary.org. Or you can sign up for Every Rotarian Every Year, EREY, to have $25 per quarter automatically deducted from your personal Bloomington Rotary Club bill. So a lot of people do that because it's kind of painless. And it'll take 10 years to get you to a Paul Harris, but there's other ways to get there faster. Okay, now Sarah's going to talk about our foundation.
So the other foundation, which you've heard us talk about many times, is the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, BRF, and that is our club's foundation. Our club is, the reason we need a foundation is that our club is a 501c4. It's a membership organization by tax status. And we needed a 501c3 organization so that we could receive gifts and hold money for the toast and for scholarships and that sort of thing. So the Bloomington Rotary Foundation is our nonprofit, our endowment, our foundation fund that is tax exempt. It's right here in Bloomington. In fact, we manage the funds for the toast for all 3 Rotary clubs because we're the only club that has a foundation. And we've actually managed some projects for surrounding clubs too, who don't have that, who needed to take a charitable gift and couldn't do it otherwise. So that's what we do at the Bloomington Rotary Foundation. As you know, our current effort is to endow our scholarship program. And so we have and yes, but the way to sign, the painless way to contribute to the Bloomington Rotary Foundation is to sign up for the 80/20 fund. On your little handout, you'll see whether you already are or you aren't. And that is a $20 charge added to your bill every quarter. So it adds up to $80 a year, and that goes automatically into our scholarship fund. The other way the foundation makes money is we receive gifts for memorial contributions when a member dies or a member's spouse dies. And again, you can sign up, you can choose the amount you want to donate, and then automatically it'll appear on your bill. So if you are doing that, for example, you will get it on your bill for a donation in memory of Charlotte. If you want to make a donation in memory of Charlotte and you're not on the automatic deduction, feel free to do that. But if you want it to just happen all by itself, that's the way this club does it.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the Fountain of Youth project, which is this incredible scholarship program that we have. A few years ago, we decided that year by year, it was a little difficult for us to develop the cash to be able to put into this program on an ongoing basis. And Lauren Snyder and a bunch of people thought, well, why don't we give ourselves a North Star? Why don't we give ourselves an objective of enough money in the endowment that would be invested, which would supply us with ongoing funds through the years, so that we can manage the scholarships that we give to high school students and Ivy Tech currently, which are, as you know, one of the most inspiring programs of the year is when the high school students come here and talk about their lives and their own aspirations as students. And so the objective was to get to $200,000. And we thought this would take us 7-8 years. And lo and behold, I don't know if we can mention the number, but we are very close to getting to $200,000. We're about $20,000 away from the gifts and the commitments that we've received. So if you go back one slide, I just want to, first of all, acknowledge and thank, and I'd like for us to see these names, the very, very generous members of our club who've come forward to make it possible for us to get to that $200,000 goal. I just want to congratulate you all and thank you so much. And if you feel inspired to get involved, I know that Charlotte was also very, very inspiring in terms of her commitment to scholarships and support of scholarships. If you feel that this is the time to get involved, I myself have decided with my wife, Liz, to be part of this program. Let's see if we can get beyond 200,000. Let's see if we can get to 250,000. So that when we finally invest these funds, we know that we can rely on them indefinitely, and that your legacy as part of the Bloomington Rotary Club will be part of the lives of these young, incredibly talented students that we support.
Thank you. Okay, so what's next? Please examine your donor sheet. Jim Harvey said to me, I'm good with everything that's on my donor sheet. So he gave it back to me and I said, no change. And I signed off on it. So if you don't mind, if that's what your state is, if you're great with everything that you're doing now, just write no change on it and give it to me or Sarah, and then we'll know. But if you are in a position to give and aren't currently, fabulous. If you can help us reach the Fountain of Youth goal, currently 200,000, not 250, please let us know. Return your sheet to us at the end of the meeting. And for Zoomers and others not here today, please, we will be emailing you your donor sheet. And one final thing, for those of us at that age, when we're making estate plans and considering what we want to leave behind, please do consider a bequest to Bloomington Rotary Foundation and/or the Rotary Foundation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Elaine, Sarah, and Sally. So at the end of the meeting, the three of them will be at the front table. You can hand in your sheets, or if you want to make one-time pledges, you can do that. I'll also be there. So see me if you want to attend the holiday party. And also if you want to make a one-time pledge to the Rotary International Foundation, I can help you with that as well. Whitney Cordoba will bring us up to date on International Committee. Tyler, can you go ahead and put up Whitney?
Oh, oopsie. Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Whitney Cordoba. Hi, everyone. Do you hear me? Okay, so I am Whitney Cordoba, and today I chair the International Services Committee here at this club. And today I'm going to give you some updates about what the committee has been up to and where we see ourselves going for the rest of this term. Okay, so first I'm going to share insights about the international project that we funded in the prior term. And then I'm going to share with you what is some of the feedback that I have received both from committee members as well as different stakeholders of the committee regarding what they would like to see in the next project that we sponsor as a club. Then I'm going to share with you a list of 5 projects that have expressed their interest in being funded by our club. And then I'm going to share with you what our next steps are going to be, and then I'm going to close with a Q&A session. Okay, so for those of you who don't know much about the committee and what we do many different things, but one of the main things that we do is we select an international project every term to sponsor this project. And the one that we sponsor in the prior term is part of the AMPAT consortia in Kenya. It's called Malezi Mema, and this was a project that consisted on providing funds to train 150 community health promoters in Kenya to deliver positive parenting education for families, like vulnerable families with children that were aged 2 to 5, and to provide some funding for computers so that they could get their work done. This project was successful in terms of meeting the outcomes for which it was created. So the project showed a significant reduction that ranged from 20 to 53% compared to baseline in terms of reductions of harsh punishment, parental stress, and stunting. But like every project, there was also room for improvement. So, for example, this project could not provide an itemized tracking of where the funds that we provided went to, because they received funds from many different sources, from private NGOs. And there was also not much clarity about what the computers were being used for. And so through further conversations with them, we found out that these computers are not used just by the community health promoters of this specific project that we sponsor, but also by other community health promoters in the region, because it turns out that they don't get a salary for the work they do. So what they do get from the government is like a stipend for the work that they're doing, and they can get this stipend if they do regular certifications using these computers. So it's like it has a ripple effect that goes beyond just the community health promoters that we supported with these funds. And then lastly, we had Rotary playing kind of like a small donor role because of what I mentioned before, that we have like a multiple streams of funding. Trying to stay on time. Okay, and so I went ahead and I met with different Rotarians, both from the committee, funders, and stakeholders, and I asked them, what is it that you would like to see in the future projects that we sponsored? So they mentioned things like wanted to see a strong advocacy within our club to ensure that we will support these projects throughout the term. So that means, do we have enough members within the club that generally are interested and invested in supporting this project? I also heard about people being very interested in building strong relationships with Indiana University. I mean, we are right now in the Memorial Union, right? And many of us are affiliated to IU in some capacity. I also heard about interest in collaborating with other Rotary clubs. Having Rotary, our club, playing a big donor role, having transparency regarding where the funds are going. Also that the organization that is leading the project is open to promoting the Rotary logo. And lastly, that if Rotarians wanted to visit and be part of the activities that we're supporting, that it will be relatively close to the US or like in a similar time zone, so that they can actually, that is easier for them to travel and be part of this. Sorry, I'm not very familiar with this. And so what did we do? Well, we designed a small survey and we asked the committee members, where would you like our next fundraising efforts to be directed? Trying to figure out like, what are people feeling? What do people want that we do? Do we want to stick with the AMPAT project that we supported before, or the AMPAT consortia in general? Do we want to fund a different project? Do we want to support both? So as you can see in this pie chart, there was like a fairly even distribution about people wanted that we support either AMPAT, a new project, or both. But 40% mentioned that they wanted that we support both. AMPAT through a global grant and a smaller scale project. When we did this assessment, we had $1,000 US in the Bloomington Rotary Foundation, and they're still there available for the committee. But we recently found out that if we submitted an application for a global grant through the Rotary International Foundation, we could have access to up to $36,000. The district will provide $20,000, and the Rotary Foundation will match 80% of that amount. So we could do like a very generous support if we decided to go through that route. Now, here is a list of the different projects that we have in place. These are projects that have expressed their interest in having the support from us. So I want to be mindful of the time that we have, I want to point you out to the third rows in the bottom, and I'll share the other details. So we have two projects on the left that are projects that we have, not projects, let's say these are organizations with whom we have partnered with before and that we have supported their projects. And then the three on the right are new proposals. So we have AMPAT Kenya, which is the same organization that we partnered with before, like in the prior term. They're proposing a project that is focused on reducing HIV risk among young women. This project has the AMPAT, like the partnership with AMPAT, has a fairly strong support within the club. And this will give us an added value of strengthening the relationships with IU. That will be through IU School of Medicine and the IU Global Program. It will also open the door for collaboration with other clubs like the Palo Alto Club in California and any other clubs that maybe would like to be part of that. And they already have a needs assessment in place, which is a prerequisite for the global grants. So because they already have that, it will save us time and money. Then we have the Safe Water Systems program, the Safe Water Systems in Southeast Asia project, which consists on expanding the Myanmar safe water systems to Philippines, Thailand, and Cambodia. And they can support from 30 up to 2,000 people. Basically our club can support this project with very little funds ranging from 500 up to 1,000, which we already have in the, through the foundation. And it will leave us to having collaboration with other clubs. This will be with the Rotary Club of LA. And it has a very low budget request from our side. And then we have three new projects. So we have the Equip a Community Health Promoter Initiative. This was proposed by a faculty member in the School of Public Health of Bloomington in partnership with Geronimo Rutich. And this project consists on strengthening work safety for 40 community health promoters through giving them backpacks that are equipped with PPE, personal protection equipment. This project will allow us to start a new relationship with IU Bloomington. Our club will play a big donor role, and they also have a needs assessment in place. So that will save us time and resources. And then we have two more projects that kind of like, I found them through like, let's say passively, didn't proactively look for them, but found them. One of them is in the University Hospital where I worked before moving to the US. This is a project that consists on reducing violence and crime among young men so basically these are young men that go to the hospital because they were involved in gangs or something like that. And they provide psychosocial support and art therapy while they're still in the hospital, aiming to help them break the cycle of violence and kind of like have a better uptake to life. We will be playing a big donor role. We will be supporting a new region and a new focus area because this is focused on peace building and conflict prevention. And then lastly, we have the can't see very well here, the North Korean Youth Skills Mentoring and Pathways Program. This was proposed by Kelsey Lechner. Thank you. That she was the recipient of Indiana Rotary Scholarship in 2022 and 2023. And this consists of ensuring that there is educational attainment among refugee children from North Korea who are living in London. She's based in London now. And this will allow us to play a big donor role to support a new region and address 2 focus areas from the Rotary priority focus areas. And so with this in mind, our next steps will be to decide which projects we want to support, if we want to support a global grant only a locally funded grant, or maybe even exploring donating the $1,000 that we already have for a smaller project like the Safe Water Systems. On the Q3, we will be raising funds. If we choose a path that will require us to do that, if we don't want to go through the global grants. And then we will be disbursing those funds and supporting the implementation of the project. We also have other goals that are basically setting up a project application form, like an online application form for future projects, and then setting up a database of funded projects and a project evaluation form so that we have a standardized way to measure the outcomes of the projects that we support. And now I guess we have some time for Q&A. We don't have time? Well, yeah, you can send an email or text me, LinkedIn, anything you want.
So there is a direct connection there, and they now have 3 new programs in Nepal, Ghana, and Mexico, which is plain distance.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a good day.
Everyone wants to steal the clicker. Thank you, Whitney. A lot of meat on that presentation. It's in the weekly meetings section of Box. However, I realize that not every single member of the club goes to Box. So if someone would like to see the presentation, send me an email or ask me in person, and I will email a copy of that to you. I'd like to thank all the club member volunteers who helped today. In honor of your presentations, a donation will be made this quarter to the Lake Monroe Water Fund. Volunteers today, Winston Schindel, Hank Walter, Connie, Sally, and Lynn in the special Rotary music, Mike Baker, Leslie Kutsenko, Dave Meyer, Marilyn Wood, Michael Shermis, Alan Barker, and Marcy Hibbert on the front desk. Next regular meeting will be here in this room on November 25th. Rotary Global Scholar Megan Gearhart will speak about becoming a global Rotarian, positive peace building, dialogue, and existing in discomfort. Remember, on the way out, there'll be multiple people at the front desk. So if you want to do anything about making one-time pledges through the club billing system, if you want to make a change on your regular billing, if you want to go to the holiday party, if you want to do something with the Rotary International Foundation, please see one of us at the front desk. So Tyler, if you could put up the graphic for the 4-way test, please stand if you're able. Of the things we think, say, or do, first, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build goodwill and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? And fifth, is it fun? Whew.